Have you ever felt like you were on the wrong side of a wall? A wall you didn't build, a wall that was there before you were even born, a wall made of history, of hurt, of your people and my people. What if I told you that Jesus walked straight up to that wall and refused to let it stop him? Stay with me today, because what happens at this well is going to change how you see everything. There is a woman. She's walking alone in the middle of the day under a blazing sun. Most women came to the well in the morning in groups, together, laughing, talking. But not this woman. She comes alone at noon when nobody else is there. She's not just getting water, she is avoiding people. And the moment she arrives, someone is already sitting there waiting. Not by accident, by divine appointment. Now let me set the scene, because the Apostle John gives us a detail that most people skip right over. He says Jesus stopped at a well, but not just any well. He says this is Jacob's well. Why does that matter? Why does John stop the whole story just to tell us whose well it is? Because this story is about two groups of people who cannot stand each other: Jews and Samaritans. Centuries of hatred between them. Centuries of wounds, centuries of tension. But here is what is powerful. They both loved Jacob. The Jews claimed him as their father. The Samaritans accepted the book of Genesis, and Jacob is all through Genesis. Two groups who despise each other, both mealing at the same family tree. So what does Jesus do? He doesn't meet her on the battlefield. He meets her on common ground. He doesn't start with what divides them. He starts with what connects them. And I need to ask you something before we go any further. Is there someone in your life right now who is different from you? Different background, different race, different culture, different history? And you've been keeping your distance? Don't skip past that question. Sit with it. Because what Jesus does next is going to speak directly to that. The woman arrives at the well, and Jesus looks at her and says 4 simple words: give me a drink. That's it. No sermon, no theology, no Bible verse, just, I'm thirsty, can you help me? And the woman is stunned. She can't hide it. She doesn't even try. She says, how is it that you, being a Jew, ask me, a Samaritan woman, for a drink? Do you hear what she is really saying? Do you know what this looks like? Your people don't do this. Our people don't do this. This is not how things work. This has never been how things work. And here is the first thing I need you to see. Jesus never stopped being Jewish. She could tell just by looking at him, his clothing, his accent, his face. He didn't change how he spoke to sound more like her. He didn't change what he wore to blend in with her people. He was visibly, verbally, unmistakably Jewish. And yet, he still asked for the drink. God did not ask Jesus to stop being who he was to reach someone who was different. He just asked him not to let who he was become a reason to walk away from her. There is a difference, and that difference matters more than you know. Let me bring this home. God is not asking you to give up your culture, your background, your heritage, your history. He made you who you are on purpose. But he is asking you one question. Will you let how I made you become a wall between you and the person I am sending you to reach? Not are you willing to stop being you, but are you willing to be you and still cross the line? Now, I want to stop here because this is something we need to wrestle with. A lot of us walk through life calling ourselves things like a black Christian or a white Christian or a Hispanic Christian. Now, I understand why we do that. Culture is real. Heritage is real. History is real. But here is the problem. In that phrase, black Christian, what is the noun? Christian. And what is the adjective? The color. And here is what an adjective does. An adjective modifies the noun. An adjective shapes the noun. An adjective makes the noun conform to itself. So if your color is the adjective and Christianity is the noun, then you are constantly shaping your Christianity to look like your color. You are bending your faith to fit your culture. But it has to work the other way. It has to work the other way. Your color and your culture, that is the noun, that is your humanity. Your Christianity, that is the adjective. That is the thing that shapes everything else. You and I are called to define our humanity by our faith, not our faith by our humanity. Jesus didn't go to that well as a Jewish man who happened to follow God. He went as the Son of God who happened to be Jewish. The difference is everything. Stay with me, because we are about to get to the moment where Jesus puts his Jewish lips to a Samaritan cup. And what happens next is going to challenge something most Christians have never thought about. Let me slow down here, because this detail is almost too easy to miss. Jesus didn't just talk to this woman. He asked to drink from her cup. Not a new cup, not his own cup, her cup. A Samaritan woman's cup. By Jewish law, by Jewish tradition, by everything his culture said was right and proper, he was not supposed to do that. That cup was considered unclean. That woman was considered unclean. That encounter never should have happened. But he put his lips to that cup anyway. And here is the part that should convict every one of us. He hadn't preached to her yet. He hadn't quoted a single scripture. He hadn't explained who he was. He hadn't mentioned God at all. He touched her life before he ever opened his mouth. And I need you to sit with that, because this is where so many of us get it completely wrong. We want to tell people about Jesus. We want to share the gospel. We want to witness, but we won't eat with them. We won't sit with them. We won't be seen with them. We say, I want your soul to get to heaven. I just don't want to deal with you on earth. We'll witness to you from a distance, but we won't get close enough for you to actually see Jesus in us. And do you know why so many people reject God? A lot of the time, it's not because of doctrine. It's not because of theology. It's because they looked at someone who claimed to follow Christ and thought, if your God won't even sit with me, why would I want to know him? Your sociology has to validate your theology. The way you treat people must match what you say you believe about God. Jesus didn't give her the word first. He gave her dignity first. And then the word followed. Let me ask you something hard. Is there someone in your world, your neighborhood, your workplace, your city, your family, someone different from you that you have been willing to talk about God to, but not willing to actually sit with, not willing to share a table with, not willing to be seen with. If Jesus was willing to drink from her cup, what cup are you refusing to touch? So Jesus starts the conversation, and then he pivots. He says, if you only knew the gift of God and who you were actually talking to right now, you wouldn't be giving me water.